It's 3:17 a.m. Your house is silent in a way it has never been before. No hum of the refrigerator. No streetlights glowing through the curtains. No phone vibrating on the nightstand. Just darkness and a strange, heavy quiet that makes every breath sound loud. You paid $500,000 for this home. The mortgage papers promised stability, safety, and the idea that you had finally made it. A good neighborhood, clean streets. Neighbors who wave but don't ask questions. The kind of place people say is perfect for raising a family. But tonight, none of that matters. Outside, the suburban street looks exactly the same as it did yesterday. Perfect lawns, identical houses, wide roads designed for convenience. And that's the problem. Every driveway is visible. Every window is glass. Every entrance is predictable. Anyone standing at the end of the road can count how many houses are occupied just by looking for light, sound, or movement. There are no sirens. No police cars. No emergency alerts. The systems you trusted, the ones you never thought about because they always worked, are simply gone. This is Z-Day. Not the movie version with fast-running monsters and dramatic music. Z-Day is what we call the moment when normal rules stop applying. When the grid goes down and doesn't come back. When supply trucks don't arrive. When help is no longer on the way. Zombies are just a symbol here, a stand-in for something far more realistic. Desperation, fear, and human behavior under pressure. Because when everything collapses, the danger doesn't come from fiction. It comes from people who are hungry, cold, scared, and willing to do things they never imagined they would. And that's when the uncomfortable truth hits you. Your $500,000 suburban home was never designed to protect you. It was designed for efficiency, for aesthetics, for resale value. Thin walls, wide windows. Open floor plans that look great on Instagram but offer zero defensive depth. A decorative fence that keeps pets in but doesn't keep anyone out. A neighborhood layout that funnels movement in neat, predictable paths, perfect for daily commuting, terrible for survival. You don't have a well. You don't have food beyond a few days. You don't have backup power that won't announce your presence to everyone within earshot. You don't even have privacy. Sound travels. Light travels. And in a quiet, collapsed world, those things are like flares. The real shock isn't that society failed. The shock is realizing how dependent your safety was on society continuing to function. Police response times only matter when police exist. Property laws only matter when courts are open. Money only matters when systems agree it has value. Strip those away, and what you're left with is a structure made of wood, glass, and drywall sitting in plain sight, surrounded by others just like it, all competing for the same shrinking resources. This video isn't about fear for the sake of fear. It's about exposing a dangerous illusion, because somewhere along the way, we were taught that expensive means safe, that a higher mortgage equals better protection. That comfort is the same thing as security. And Z-Day, whatever form it takes, doesn't just break infrastructure. It shatters those assumptions. Tonight, we're going to talk about why the modern suburban home becomes a zero defense asset the moment the system fails. Why visibility turns into vulnerability. Why price tags lose meaning when order disappears. And most importantly, what actually matters when survival, not comfort, is the goal. Because when everything stops working, your house doesn't become your shelter. It becomes your signal. The modern suburban home was never built for danger. It was built for comfort, speed, and appearance. Wide streets so cars can pass easily. Large windows to let light in. Open floor plans so families feel connected. Thin walls to keep costs down. Everything about suburbia assumes one thing: stability. When that stability disappears, the design turns against you. Those big windows that once felt luxurious now expose your entire interior. Anyone outside can see light, movement, or silhouettes. The open layout means there's no layered defense, no choke points, no fallback positions, no controlled spaces. If someone forces entry, they're immediately inside your entire living area. Drywall doesn't stop anything, not tools. Not weapons. Not determine people. Most suburban doors are hollow core. Most locks are designed to delay, not deny. Even fences are psychological barriers, not physical ones. They define property lines, not protection. And then there's noise. Suburban homes are close together. Sound travels through walls, across yards, down streets. A single argument, a dropped object, a barking dog becomes an announcement. In collapse, noise is information. Information attracts attention. The illusion was never intentional deception. It was optimization. Builders optimized for cost, speed, and resale value. Communities optimized for convenience. Homeowners optimized for lifestyle. No one optimized for when help doesn't come. Suburbia works beautifully when systems are alive, when electricity hums, water flows, and laws are enforced. But remove those systems, and what you're left with is a highly visible, lightly built structure in a densely populated area, exactly the opposite of what survival demands. Suburbs don't fail immediately. They unravel quietly, then all at once. The first thing to go is power. Lights out. Internet gone. Phones slowly draining. Without electricity, almost every system you rely on starts collapsing behind the scenes. Water pressure drops. Gas pumps stop working. Stores can't process payments. ATMs go dark. At first, people stay calm. They assume it's temporary. By day 2, grocery shelves thin out. By day 3, they're empty. Most suburban homes carry less than a week of food. Water is even worse. No wells. No rain collection. Just pipes that depend on pressure from a system miles away. By day 5, panic becomes visible. Cars line up at closed stations. People knock on doors asking questions they're afraid to answer themselves. By day 7, those knocks stop being polite. Suburbs are designed around daily resupply. Trucks bring food. Fuel brings mobility. Without them, there is nothing local to fall back on. No farmland. No storage. No production. Cities erupt first because of density. But suburbs suffer next because of dependence. They are too spread out to organize quickly and too resource poor to sustain themselves. And when desperation sets in, movement begins. People leave apartments and city centers and head outward, believing suburbs are safer. But that migration only accelerates the collapse. More mouths, more pressure. More conflict. The quiet streets don't stay quiet for long. In a collapse, being seen is a liability. Suburban neighborhoods are maps made real. Predictable layouts, identical houses, numbered streets, mailboxes announcing occupancy, driveways showing who has vehicles. Trash bins revealing consumption. You don't need surveillance technology when everything is already labeled. At night, even a single light becomes a beacon. A candle in a window. A generator hum. A TV flicker through blinds. In a silent world, those signals carry far. And they say one thing: someone here has resources. Sound is worse. Voices, footsteps, tools, music. In suburbia, sound echoes between houses and down roads. There's no terrain to absorb it, no distance to dilute it. Even during the day, activity gives you away. Smoke from cooking, frequent movement in and out, attempts to fortify that look out of place. The very act of trying to survive marks you as different, and difference attracts attention. Privacy was never part of the design. Suburbs were meant to be shared, observed, governed. Safety came from visibility under normal conditions. neighbors watching out for each other, streets that discourage crime because someone is always home. But when rules collapse, that same visibility becomes exposure. Anonymity becomes protection. Silence becomes armor. And suburbia offers neither. $500,000 feels like security until security stops accepting money. Your house's value exists on paper, in databases, in legal agreements enforced by institutions. Strip those away, and the number means nothing. A luxury kitchen doesn't stop hunger. Smart home systems don't work without power. Security cameras don't matter if no one responds. Insurance won't save you. Claims depend on functioning governments and stable economies. Banks won't protect you. Their concern is paperwork, not survival. What you purchased wasn't resilience. It was participation in a system that promised order in exchange for dependence. And when that system collapses, the illusion shatters. Expensive homes often perform worse in collapse. They are larger, harder to secure, more resource-hungry. They require more energy, more maintenance, more visibility. Their size works against them. Meanwhile, smaller, less noticeable dwellings become advantages. Homes that blend in, homes that require less, homes that can be adapted quietly. Collapse doesn't reward wealth. It rewards preparedness, adaptability, and restraint. Your mortgage didn't buy you safety. It bought you a position in a game that only works while the rules exist. What survives Z-Day isn't luxury. It's alignment with reality. Location matters more than size. A place with water access beats granite countertops every time. Community matters more than isolation. A small group working together survives longer than a lone household behind locked doors. Skills outlast supplies. Food runs out. Fuel runs out. Knowledge doesn't. The ability to fix, grow, filter, treat, and adapt becomes currency. Visibility must be minimized. Smaller footprints are easier to defend and easier to hide. Redundancy replaces convenience. Multiple ways to cook, communicate, and move quietly matter more than smart systems. Survival isn't about building a fortress. It's about avoiding becoming a target. Z-Day doesn't destroy houses. It exposes assumptions. It reveals which structures were built for stability and which can function without it. The suburban home isn't evil. It's just honest about what it was designed for, a world where systems always come back on. But history tells us they don't always. And when they don't, survival belongs to those who prepared for reality, not resale value. Morning comes quietly. The sun rises over the same suburban street, casting light on the same houses, the same lawns, the same sidewalks. From a distance, everything looks normal. No smoke. No fires. No visible destruction. But something fundamental is missing. Order. Doors are open that shouldn't be. Cars are gone from driveways where they sat for years. Some houses are dark, not because people are sleeping, but because no one is left inside. Others show signs of hurried decisions, overturned furniture, broken windows, half-finished attempts at protection. Z-Day didn't tear these homes apart. It simply revealed their limits. For decades, we were taught that safety could be purchased, financed, and insured. That if we followed the rules, paid the mortgage, and lived in the right neighborhood, security would take care of itself. And for a long time, that belief worked because the system worked. But systems are agreements, and agreements only hold as long as everyone participates. When the power didn't return, when help didn't arrive, when law became a memory instead of a presence, the truth surfaced quietly and without drama. Comfort is not the same thing as preparedness. The suburban home was never meant to be your last line of defense. It was meant to be a reward for stability, a symbol of success in a functioning world. When that world falters, symbols lose their power. What remains is not fear, but responsibility. Responsibility to think clearly, to adapt. To understand that survival is not about panic or fantasy, but about realism and humility. It's about asking hard questions before they're forced upon you. If tomorrow everything stopped, no power, no supply trucks, no guarantees, would your home protect you or expose you? Z-Day doesn't announce itself with monsters or explosions. It arrives with silence, and in that silence, only one thing matters. Not what your house is worth, but what it can actually do.